As I stare out the window of yet another airliner, I find myself just as intrigued as I was the first time I flew as a kid. I'm on my way up to Michigan from Memphis, Tennessee, where we're based, to deliver a small plane to a little town called Independence, Iowa. As the plane lines up with the runway, I get pretty excited. Takeoffs are my second favorite part of a flight, the first being a nice, skillful landing. It still fascinates me how something so heavy can take flight. I have to make a connection in Atlanta to get to Flint, Michigan. They say when you die and go to heaven, you have to go through Atlanta first. My flight wasn't bad. I had plenty of legroom in the exit row. The flight to Atlanta only took 50 minutes or so. Not very exciting. Here comes that landing. Quick taxi to the gate, and then I was making my connection. Atlanta has the busiest airport in the entire world, and somehow they're able to move everybody through there fairly efficiently. The ground transportation system is good, and it keeps it from being too difficult. If you're a people watcher, Atlanta has some primo people watching. I boarded my connection to Flint, Michigan around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I was a little bit surprised to find that my seatmate had already had a few drinks before the flight. She had a lot to talk about. The flight was mostly uneventful. I tried to pick out what landmarks I could until it got too cloudy to see the ground. The flight over Kentucky and Ohio was so cloudy I really couldn't see much. We broke out of the clouds about 10 minutes before landing, somewhere over southern Michigan. Flint was easy to identify from the empty slabs that used to be factories. By the time I disembarked in Flint, I was ready to be done with commercial flying. I was picked up by the owner of the aircraft and his wife, who were both very pleasant. They took me to Lexington, Michigan to stay for the night. Lexington sits right on the shore of Lake Huron. Everything was closed, but I couldn't resist walking down there to at least stick my fingers in the water. The whole town looks pretty much like a train layout. It was all decorated for fall. Everything was lit up and clean. I was really impressed with the little town. I stayed at the Cadillac of establishments in Lexington, Michigan, which is coincidentally called the Cadillac House. The Cadillac House was built in 1859 and established in 1860. That's pre-Civil War. It was recently refurbished. Let's check out the inside. It wasn't super fancy, just a few pictures of the Cadillac House from long ago. And the rooms were clean but simple. It was time to get a good night's rest for the next day. I had a long flight ahead. The next morning, the owner picked me up and took me to Sandusky City, where the plane was kept. After a thorough pre-flight inspection and putting a little air in the tire, I was ready to get going. The gas pumps in Sandusky City weren't working, so I had to hop over to Marlette to fill up. It wasn't long before I was on my way out of the thumb of Michigan, passing Flint, Lansing, and Kalamazoo. Lake Michigan was really cool to see from the air. Even Gary, Indiana looks good from up there. As I made my way past the lake, I was almost to my halfway point, so I decided to stop for fuel and a little break. I made a nice, soft, easy Cardinal landing at Bolt Field in Monee, Illinois, also known as Charlie 56. I didn't waste too much time there. I just got the gas and took care of what I needed, and then I was on my way again. You can see Chicago right in the center of your screen, which was pretty neat. Flying along, you see all sorts of things you don't expect to find. Also, Sabula, Iowa happens to be a town on an island in the Mississippi River. Who knew? There wasn't as much corn in Iowa as I thought there would be. And as I approached my final destination, I was eager to get out of the plane. After another textbook landing in the Cardinal, I was glad to be on the ramp and walk around for a little bit. The best part of the trip is seeing the new aircraft owner walk up with a smile on his face. By then we were both pretty hungry, and he knew about this great little place called the Okoboji Grill. They have a great burger. After we ate, it was time to go to Cedar Rapids to catch a flight to Detroit.
Please be sure your seatbelt is fastened.
I had to go to Detroit to make a connection back to Memphis.
Pleasure to welcome you to Detroit with another early arrival.
One more walk through another airport, and pretty soon I was taxiing back out for another takeoff to Memphis, Tennessee. Our Jason Air channel is about to round a corner, so make sure you stay in the know by subscribing and clicking the bell notification so you're not left out. And leave us a comment down below, even if it's just to tell us where you're from. Thanks for watching.